3 seconds, right? Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, so suppose now I'm running a same image. Okay, now this time what I'm doing, I want to run the entry point command, and it will be sleep, and I want to sleep for like 7 seconds. Okay, this 7 seconds. Now on the second terminal, what I will do, I will show you, are there any container running? So currently there are no container running. So I want to run the container. Okay, now I'm going to run the container. Okay, now it is running. Okay, but if you see here, you can see now it is up up from last 3 seconds, right? Now you don't see any container. Why?
Right.
Why? Why you
Because
don't see
after
any container?
it's again, after running this command, it again go back into the exited mode.
Yeah, because that command got completely executed. Okay, that command got completed. It took, the command was just run for or sleep for only 7 seconds. So it ran that command, and once that command got completed, it just exited. Okay, you got this thing, right?
Right.
Yeah, why it got exited. Now let's see the Docker run -d flag. So by default, the container will run in attached mode. Attached mode means you can see the output whatever we have. Like suppose you want to run a Docker run nginx image. Run it. Here you can see that you see some output right here,
Right.
because it is attaching the steady output of the container to your terminal. Okay, it is allocating some terminal to your container. If you're by default, if you don't give anything. Okay, but suppose I want to exit. Okay, now I will do ps docker ps -a. I will just remove all the containers. Okay, now there won't see any container now. Now suppose I run the hyphen with the -d flag. I'm running the same image with the -d flag. Okay. Here, what do you see? What is the difference? Hello?
It will run the nginx.
Yeah, but what is the difference? Last time also we run the same command, but this time
But
we have
here
given
it will, because last time we run the same command, but here now we are given the -d.
right, -d. So -d means in detached mode. Okay.
Yes.
So it will run the container in that detached mode, and we will not see any output on the screen. Okay. But suppose you want to see the container. You can just do docker ps and you can see the container, it is up and running. And if you want to see the current output of this container, you can just use this command docker log and the container id. Docker logs. Yeah, so currently you can see whatever output is printed by the container on the steady output, you can see using docker logs command. Okay, but by default the container will run in this mode using this -a steady output, using this flag. If you don't provide this thing, by default it will use this thing. Let me show you. Docker run -a steady out engine. So you can see here we are getting the same output. Okay. So -d means in detached mode. It means it will run the container in the background and we will not get any terminal output. Okay. Now this thing we already seen this thing. Whenever we are working on a CMD, if you want to override a CMD, you can just run this Docker run image name, and after that you can provide any command line. Okay, it will override the CMD thing. Okay, now this thing. Now fourth point. If you want to override the entry point also, there is a one more flag. The flag name is entry point. Okay. Last time we seen that we cannot override the entry point, right?
Right.
Right. But using this flag, we can override entry hyphen entry point.
Right.
Okay. Now, next thing is, suppose you want to pass some environment variables to your container. Okay, but you don't want to pass using like this flag docker. Where is that? Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Suppose now we want to pass some environment variable to your container. So how you can do it? Either you can define it in the Docker file as a default variable, or else what you can do, you can pass the environment variable using this flag -env. Okay. So let's see the practical. If we go to examples folder, keywords, we'll just say one thing. Where is the environment? Yeah. Why is it coming up? Okay, now I'm building this image. Okay, just see these things. Now I'm building it. Now let's see the environment variable for your container. Okay, so using the run command, it will run the container. Now if we pass this thing, it will override the command. Okay, so here you can see that by default your environment variable are set to the same as your Docker file. Whatever you are mentioning in the Docker file, it will be same when you do Docker run. Okay, now suppose you want to override these things, this variable during runtime. So most of the time in your CI/CD pipeline, you will be having like multiple environments. So in that case, what you can do, you can use this parameter Docker run image name 05. You can use this thing -env. Suppose I want to override the my name variable. Okay, we did like Omkar Singh. Okay, I want I want to add new variable. How you can do it using same thing, same flag. Like I want to add like uh, password. Okay. What's it? So if you see here, you can see that you have overridden the my name variable. Also, you have added the new variable. Okay. So using this flag, you can override environment variable using the during Docker run, as well as you can add the new environment variable to your Docker container. Okay, got it?
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Now, sometimes what happens, you have like 10 or 12 environment variables. Okay. At that time, what happens? It is not a good practice to pass all this variable to the command line. Okay. So you cannot do this like environment where one and then same thing like that 20 times. You cannot do it. You can do it, but it's not a good practice to like pass 20 environment variable as a Docker for the Docker. So there is a one way to resolve this issue, but which is using the hyphen environment file parameter. So for this, you can just pass the any file which has this kind of syntax var1 and its value variable and its value. So you can pass any file which follow the structure. So all this variable will be set as an environment variable to your container. Okay, let's see the practical. Okay, now let's run this image without any parameter. Okay, by default. If you see here, it has all the by default environment variable. Now, if you want to take the variables from the environment file, what you can do? You can just use this flag -env -file and then file path. So in our case, the file is in same directory. Oops, I think we are not in the So if you see here, environment.list contains var1 value 1, this thing. So this variable will be set as a environment variable. Same thing for this other two variables. Okay, you can see here var1, var2, my cat. Now suppose you want to add like my vault key. Okay, and now you want to run it again. So here you can see the same variable has been set inside a container with the same key. Okay. Okay. Now let's yeah. So I think you already know about this flag happen name. Now let's see all the containers. So currently we only have only one container, and its name is Laughing Ramanujan. Okay. So if you don't, wait, let me delete all the containers. So so if you see now Docker PS, you don't see any container. Now let's create a new container. Docker run -d nginx. Okay. So this is the container ID. So if you do Docker PS, what do you see? The container ID is same as this thing. So here you only see only 10, 12 or 14 characters, but the whole container ID is this much long. Okay. And if you see that in the names column, you see Upbeat Jones. So if you don't provide any name, by default, it will take any random name. Now let's create a container with some name. My container, okay. Docker PS. Here you can see that this is the container ID. And here the name is whatever you have said during Docker run command. Okay. Now suppose you want to rename a container. There is also you can also do that thing using rename command. Docker rename, suppose my container, some container. Do Docker, yes, no. Here you can see that the name has been replaced with the some container. Okay, but still this thing is up and running from last 4 seconds. So it is just renaming the container. It is not stopping or not creating a new container. Okay. So this thing is about Docker run command. So do you have any doubts now?
No, as of now.
Okay. So this is now let's move toward the Docker container command. Now suppose you want to see only a running container, so you can use this command Docker PS, okay, or Docker container. Okay, these two commands are same. What happened? What is happening? Okay, sorry, I haven't given anything. Okay, so Docker container ls is same as the Docker ps. Okay, you are seeing same output for both of these commands. Okay, now suppose you want to see all the containers irrespective of their status. Okay, so if you do you -a flag, you can see all the containers. So you can see that this is the executed container which was not there earlier when we run docker ps or docker container ls command. Okay, but now you can see this command, see this container. Okay. Now suppose in some script you require only the only require docker container id. Okay, you only interested in this thing, container id. So you can get this thing using docker using -q flag. Okay, so here you can see that you are only getting this thing, the container IDs. Okay. Okay, so this is about the Docker saving the containers. Now let's move towards the running container operations. Okay. Now sometimes suppose you created some container, okay, and it created some file, some data. Okay, and now you want to copy that data from your running container to your local machine. Okay, so how you can do it? Okay, so for that we have command docker cp file name, container id, or name, and the path of the path inside a container. Okay, suppose now you are running nginx container. Okay, I can, or I think already have this container. Okay, now let's go inside a container using this exec command -it and the container id. Once inside a container, suppose it created some file. Okay, this now suppose this container created some file. Okay, currently it haven't created any file, but let's assume 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 that this container created this file. Okay, bash.bash src, and you want this file on your host machine. Okay, on your Windows laptop. How you can do it? So for that, what you can do, you can use the docker cp command. Okay, docker cp, and what is the syntax of the docker cp command? Docker cp container id and the source file path, means from which location of the container you want to copy, and the destination computer path. Okay, so let me show you. So let me go to the docker training. Let's go to workspace. Okay, now currently here you can see that we don't have any files, we only have this folder. Now I want to copy the files from a docker container. How you can do it? Just do docker ps, you can see the docker container id. Now I want to copy the file from this container. Okay, so what is the command? Docker cp container id and then colon path inside a container. Okay, so what is the what? At which location that file is? It is at this location, etc and bash.bashrc. So I'm going to give etc and I want to copy it here in the same directory. So I will give it dot. So here you can see that the file has been copied here. You do cat.bash.bs, you can see that it has been copied inside my current directory, which is on my this machine. Okay, did you got it?
Yes.
Okay. Now suppose you want to copy some file. Like suppose you want to copy this thing inside your Docker container. How you can do it? You can use the same command. Okay. Docker cp. This time this thing is reverse. Okay. First argument is the source file. So that is not there. Cluster.yaml. Now container ID. Cluster.yaml. Container ID and path. Suppose I want to copy it. Let's suppose I want to copy it inside a temp directory of the container. Okay. So if I do ls now, I don't see any file. Now let's copy it. My file. Okay, now it is copied. If you do ls, you can see that this one. If you do cat, you can see that same file has been copied inside a container. Okay. So did you got the meaning of this command, docker cp command, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, good. Now there are some more commands about Docker container. Like suppose Docker, I want to see stats of the particular container. How you can do it? You can give the container ID. So here you can see that CPU consumed by that particular container, memory consumed by that particular container, and the network throughput, and the block, the disk throughput IO. Okay, and PID of that particular container. Okay, can you see? But have you observed that difference now? I haven't used the whole container ID, but still I was able to get the same details. Why?
Um, because container ID might be it's a unique now for all.
Yes, right. Yeah, exactly. It is unique. So this thing is unique. So Docker is very intelligent. So it can easily find out using only like minimal number of character also. Like if you
Correct.
can 51 also, here you can see that you are getting same output for the same container ID. Okay, and what I am seeing showing now like Docker PS, same things will be same for container name. You can use the container name as well as container ID. They are applicable for both things. So not PS stat. What is that? Docker stat. Sorry, it should be stats. Okay, so you can use the container ID and name. Enter CJB. Okay, now I think you already seen this command, Docker container log. So if you want to suppose now it is running in the background mode. Okay, and you want to see the output. Okay, maybe that particular container is printing something on the study output. Okay, on the terminal. So using Docker container logs, you can see that particular thing. Log and the container ID. Oh, again, it is log. Yes, sorry, not a log, it logs. Okay, so you can see that it is printing something on output on the screen. And now next command is docker inspect. So it show all the info related to the content to that particular container. If you do docker ps docker inspect and the container ID, you can see that all the details. Okay, mostly it is useful if you don't know what is the entry point for the particular container. Okay, we can get lot of details like what is the host path, what is host name path, at which location this thing is storing its logs. Okay, so suppose if you get this file, na,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, if you get this file, you can see that whatever like logs we have earlier, right?
Right, right.
Yeah, but it is shown in the JSON format. It is stored in JSON format here. So using Docker inspect command, you can see all the detail related to the particular container. Okay, it will show everything. So at which location it is storing log. Okay, at what time it is started. What is the status? Okay, it is killed or not. And again, you can also see let me entry point. Okay. Also, you can see that environment variable set by default. Okay. Also, the entry point or the CMD. Okay. All the detail you can find out using this thing. So, in the interview, they might ask you how you can find the entry point of your Docker image. Okay, or Docker container. Okay. So, using this thing, you can easily find out.
Okay.
Okay. This thing, I think, yeah. So suppose if you see this thing, Docker log, suppose you want to see only last two lines. So you can use the tail is equal to true, and you can see only last two lines. Because in sometimes what happens, there will be a lot of blocks will get that for your particular container, and you want to see only last 10 or 20 lines. Okay. So at that time, you can use this tail part. Okay, so now let's move toward the stopper remove container. So suppose you want to stop a container. How you can do it? You can use the docker stop command. Okay, and suppose you want to remove a container. How you can do it? You can do it using docker remove command. Okay, now uh, let's stop one or some let's remove one container with this ID. Okay, RM51A. Okay, so you are getting error. Why? Because you cannot directly kill the running container. For this, you have to first stop this container using docker stop container ID 51. Right. So you can see here, you can see that it has been exited state. Okay, because you have stopped.
Hello. Mm,
Hello.
Hi. Might be it's
Okay. Now suppose you want to delete a container, docker rm, and you can use this thing. Okay, it is removed. Now suppose you don't want to use the stop command. You want to directly delete the container. So for that you can use the force command. If you give -f na, so it means forcefully delete it. but you might wonder means why to use the Docker stop then? Okay, if you can directly forcefully delete it. Okay, right. You might have that question.
No.
No. So why do you think there are two commands like you can directly forcefully delete it or you can stop it and then remove it? Why? Why the two-step extra?
Better if sometime maybe if you build if you will put hyphen f, it will not ask any question. It will delete directly, and you cannot recover it, right?
Not recover it, but if you give the stop flag, it means it will gracefully delete that container. Okay, suppose there is some process
Correct. Correct.
is going on, it will send the sig stop signal to that
Yes.
particular container, so it can gracefully terminate all the actions. Okay, suppose it want to close the database connection, it can easily delete it. But if you do hyphen f na, it will forcefully kill it. It will directly terminate that particular container. So at sometimes some connection might be open. Okay, so it is not a good practice to directly for kill the container. Okay. Okay. RM, I think, yeah, and also you can delete the multiple containers. Okay, like suppose Docker run hyphen d. Creating now like 3 containers. Suppose if you give the same name, na, it will be error. You will get error. Okay, the name is in already used. You have to give the different name each time. Now, if you do Docker ps, you can see that there are 3 containers. So I can stop all the 3 containers using Docker stop and all 3 container IDs. Or you can also give the names also. It is interchangeable. PAD 4 and 9C. Okay, you can see they all been stopped. Now we can use the Docker rm command and it will delete all these containers. Okay, so if we do Docker ps or ps -a, you can see there are no containers. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Now there is a one more thing. Like suppose you want to delete all the containers. Like suppose sometimes what happened there will be a lot of mess will be there. Uh, I, oh, something it is not doing. Docker run -d. I'm on machine slow. Now, suppose there are like 100 or 200 containers are in running or either in running or in the executed state. Suppose now there are like currently there are only four containers are there, but maybe at your case maybe you are running some worker which is running from like last 20 days or maybe from 1 year. Okay, and you haven't cleared the older containers. Okay, and you want to clear all this exited container using only a single command. Okay, you don't want to type it like this: Docker rm and the container name. Okay, you can do it using this thing manual way. Okay, but there is a already one command, this trick. You can use this trick. Okay, Docker rm -f. But remember one thing: it will delete running container also. Okay, it will delete this thing also. So if we do this thing, here you can see all the 4 containers got removed. Okay, so be careful with this command if you don't want to kill all the running containers. So you can use the other trick also, like you can use this command to get only the container which are only in exited state, not in the running state. Okay. So I think you can search this for your like exercise. Okay, search this thing how you can delete only the exited container, not the running container. And if you don't find it, then let's ask me tomorrow. I will give you that command.
Sure.
Okay. Remove stop container dangling image cache. Okay. Okay. Now suppose if you want to let me show you. I think you last time asked me what is user hyphen rm command. Okay. So I will show you now. So if I do so can you spot it the difference? What happened?
Yes. So it's also creating and deleting, but I'm not understanding it.
No, yeah. So what happened? Now, if you run this container, okay, so it will be created in the background, okay. So you can see that here, if you do docker ps, this container is running, okay. But now I'm stopping the container using docker stop command and this thing, the container ID. But as soon as it stopped, it got removed, okay. So meaning of this -rm flag, it means if container got stopped, just delete that container from the system, okay. So you don't have to delete, remove it manually. If you stop, then just delete it. Okay. And the next command is docker system prune. So it is not just for the like containers. It is also used for the images. So if we have some images which don't have any like tag na, it can easily be deleted using this thing docker system prune. So it will ask, okay, all shop container, yes, happen y. And what it will do, it will remove all the stop containers, okay, all the dangling images and build caches. Okay, so if we have a lot of images here which don't have any name like none here, it will be deleted using this thing, using this command docker system prone. So it is mostly used for cleaning your workers or machines. So it is taking a lot of time. Okay, so I think we missed one more thing. Docker stop and start. So you can start and stop your container. Okay, suppose now you're working on some task and you created some container. Now you don't want to use it. Okay, but maybe you will require it like on the Monday or Tuesday. But for like weekends, you don't need it. So you can easily pause that container using Docker stop command. Okay, it will just pause this thing. Okay, just control C, like suppose. I will just remove this thing. Now you can see docker ps, the container is running. Now suppose I want just stop it for some time. Okay, now it is weekend, I want to go out and I just want to stop the service using docker stop command. You can stop it. Now suppose you want to start this container again. Okay, same container, you can start it. Here you can see it is up and running. Okay, same container. Got it now?
Got it.
Yeah. So I think these all are the mostly main command for the docker container. Okay.
I think it's enough to just work on day to day.
Yes, right.
The container related task, right?
Yes, right. So I think How this exact thing? Exact thing is not here. I think it's I missed that thing, or maybe I have added in some other thing. Okay, so I will show you what is use of exec. Okay, so most of I think other commands we have seen it. Okay, attach thing as you hyphen a flag. CP we have seen it. Create a like you can either Docker or Docker create. If you want to see the difference between two containers, you can use Docker diff. Docker
Okay.
container diff. But I haven't used that this command. Okay, in my whole career, I don't think you are going to use it. And there is a command like Docker exec. That thing we are going to see. I
Okay.
think this thing also I don't know what is use of this thing. Instead, I think we already shown you the kill thing is same as the RM. Okay, here you can see that. Remove one more container. Sorry, kill running container. Log single same. Just want to see if you want to see logs, whatever the printed on the terminal by the container, you can use the docker logs command. ls, okay, we already seen it. ls to list all the containers. Pause is same as the stop. Port I will show you when you move to the port thing. Here, run thing we have seen it. Suppose you want to remove all the stop container, you can use this docker to container prune command. Already I will given you the answer of your exercise. Okay, so you can use the docker container prune to remove all the stop container. And rename the container name. Restart. Suppose you want to restart, like you want to stop and start immediately, you can use the restart command. Rm already learn, run already know, start thing. If you want to start a stop container, you can use this thing. Start already learn, stop also learn. Yeah, and I think top is not we haven't covered the top, so let's cover the top. Sometimes you mostly you use this thing also. Like suppose Docker top 96. So sorry, container top. Here you can see that it will run the top command inside a container. Whatever it is running inside, suppose inside container there are we have like 2 or 4 processors are running, and we want to get the their PIDs. Okay. Other infos you can use the Docker container top command. It is same as your Linux top command. Okay, it is just running this same command inside your container. Okay, I guess yeah, we want to learn about exec command. Okay, so what do you think? What is use of exec command?
To just log in to go into that running container.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you can use the Docker exec -it. So in the interview, they will ask you what is use of this -it command. So I means interactive terminal. No,
Yes.
sorry. T means the terminal. I means input. Interactive way. Okay. So let's do the practical. I will show you 9.6. And if you do sh means we can go inside a container using this command sh. So that's good. Sorry, no, 9.6. Here you can see this. Now we are currently inside a container. So you cannot run top command here. Okay. But you can run the ps ipn here. I guess ps is not available.
We have to use the bash, then we will be able to use this command.
No, even in the bash it is not available. So because as we earlier learned that, okay, so Docker only uses like minimal part. Okay, it is just a base image which has only minimal things, and our program don't need like top and other binaries. Okay, so this container only contains minimal binaries. Okay, so that is why it is not available. Okay, so you're getting now is why we use a Docker, because it only packages the only minimal things. Okay, whatever you use by your code only.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so using exec command, you can go inside a container. Suppose if you forget like -i now, here you can see that we are not getting any output, nothing. When I type ls now, I'm not getting any output. Okay, so because the input what you have provided, it is not going to the Docker container. If you provide -i, and now if you do ls, you can see the output. Let's keep the let's keep here. You can see that if you don't use the t thing now, you'll not get the pretty output. Terminal is not allocated to you. Here you can see. Got it now?
Got it.
Yeah. So I think these things are enough for you, means to Docker container commands. I think we covered a lot of things for the Docker.
Correct.
Okay, so you got everything, right? All the commands, exact thing, right? Yeah. Now two things, not two, there are three things remaining. One is volume, another thing is expose thing, how to expose a Docker container, and third thing is multi-stage image. Okay, so they will ask you in the interview what is use of multi-stage image, these things. Okay, so should I continue this multi-stage image today, or should we start? Means because it is a huge part.
First I will do this practice and then we will start tomorrow.
Okay, but because that is a big thing, that will be I think that will be the last thing you want to know.
Yes. So we will do it tomorrow.
Okay. And what about this volume? I think volume is also huge, so we'll cover it tomorrow.
Sure.
And what else I want to show you? Yeah, I want to show you the Docker port. So it is a simple thing. I mean, you want it to see, I can show you tomorrow as well as today also. You can repeat this thing if you want.
Do it tomorrow. So that will be great.
Okay, then I think tomorrow we will cover port and multi-stage Docker file and volume. I think if it's not covered tomorrow, means if it's not permit or time not permit, we'll do it day after tomorrow. Okay, so day after tomorrow, all the things related to Docker will be over.
Okay.
So you got the good understanding. Like if you have any doubts, you can note down this doubt. Okay.
Sure.
If you want to do any practicals, if you want to do anything by your own, try to execute it. If you get any issues, just let me know. Okay,
Sure.
so we can debug it together. So I think until the end of this week, you have to be good in Docker.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Good night.